for this particular app? And I would say no all the time, because I can't think of any app in my head, to be honest, where I've enjoyed being notified. There might be one, I don't know, but I can't think of one that I've said I've enjoyed notifications.
Wish you had told us that a week ago.
Why is that?
We just added a whole bunch of apps.
Well, the good news is you can always go back in and change it. But I think that's the mindset. I would say no, because I really can't think of when I want to. You know, the danger of the iPad screen, the iPad in general, why we're so addicted to it, is because it's constantly saying, use me, right? Like, that's the idea of notifications. Oh, pay attention to this, do something, do this. And I can't tell you how many times I've had students that I work with their iPads, and all I see are iMessage notifications nonstop, notifying someone, texting them, someone writing something, new email, do this, do that. So from the student side, it's incredibly distracting, and I would highly recommend, if you are, again, working with students with iPads, that you turn off all those notifications, because it takes away from what they want to do. But also just for yourself too, I think it is a distracting thing. And if there is one particular app where you really like notifications, you know, maybe it's a banking app which notifies you if there's a fraudulent charge in your credit card. Maybe that's important, but I don't know what else there is. Or maybe if there's a game, I don't know. You can play their app. Just by the way, to control it, if you go to settings and if you go to notification center, that will show you all of the apps that you currently have on your iPad that kind of include any type of notification. And if you would say, okay, messages, I don't want those to show up in notifications. All we're simply going to do is go to none and turn off notifications. And I think there's other things we can do, right? I think if we turn off show and lock screen notification center, that will help us out too. Is that right? I think that should be the case. Now notice in the bottom it says do not include messages. So we can control and dictate how to do it. I just think you're better off by default saying no and adding on rather than the opposite, if that makes sense.
So how do you handle that with kids who are like bringing their own iPads to school? Do you just make them like put that, like, because you theoretically can't control what notifications they have, do you just tell them to put it on like do not disturb while they're in class, so none of that's coming up?
Correct, and actually for us too, we don't actually even manage the ones we distribute.
Yeah.
We actually just give them a blank iPad and say it's your iPad for the year. What we do is we hold a mandatory boot camp for all the students in August before they come in, and give them tips and ideas and things to do. So we actually can't, you can only tell them, you can't force them to do it. So it's our advice that they do those things. They don't always listen, but I think we can do a much better job taking the stronger stance on it and saying, you know, if you see these things and you're distracted, we'll take the device away. So we have to do a better job more from the overall discipline and less on, I think, on the individual screen. But we tell them, but we can't do much else beyond that. But I think if you set it up as a school, you can do different stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
Do you have that recorded on YouTube anywhere? The boot camp that you do with the kids?
Oh, no, that's not a bad thought actually. We've done. It's actually a really good thought. We just kind of basically wrote down a bunch of stuff. We have the content. I'm happy to share with any of you if we have. Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely share that content. But the YouTube video is actually interesting. I never even thought about that. But that's a nice thing to turn.
So they can go back and watch it.
Absolutely, in the point of the year. Yeah, we actually did a really nice idea. One of our people on our tech team, she works with a group of students who name themselves the Geek Squad in the Mill Division, and they actually make helpful videos and teach videos for both students and teachers throughout the year. And they've done stuff like that, and so they've made some nice videos that have been really good. So we might even use them for next year. That's a great idea.
As a school, what is your policy for placing YouTube videos for school? I mean, when with kids, can you do that?
Completely open. Yeah, we have a completely open internet. We don't have any filters. Yeah, every school is different. I think it works for us, and our policy is we'd rather deal with discipline afterwards rather than limit, and more than that, treat any misbehavior as misbehavior and not technological misbehavior. So anything that a student might be doing that's not recommended, whether it be on a certain YouTube video that they're watching or something else, we will address that as a.
But as a teacher, you can. No, we can watch YouTube,
Yeah.
but as a teacher, can you save a YouTube video from your class, and recording the kids?
Oh, sorry, of actually video recording students?
The students.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, every policy, every school is different. Our basic policy, which we operate under, is that you can record anything you want to for school purposes, and you can post first names only. Last names we don't want you to post, but first names and videos are perfectly fine. Couple more. Background check. Check your backgrounds, right? Your background wall, because I actually think that there's an opportunity, and we've done this to be really creative with how you put you put in your background. Example: our middle division. They obviously all the students are required to basically put on their background their names, their homeroom teachers, their ID numbers, and their grade, so that in the situation when an iPad is lost, which is probably pretty much every day, as soon as you turn the iPad on, you know exactly whose device it is and can get it back to that student. So they're required to have their main background on their lock screen be that information. They just take a picture of their ID card and then have that be their basic background. Lower school, I've seen a lot of good ideas for this as well, where you can basically, if you have like a classroom set, you can have backgrounds be different animals, for example, and that way you know that, okay, if Joanna was using the lion, as soon as you turn it on, there's a lion background, and now you can give her that same device the next day. So you can use your background, I think, for a lot of different purposes, other than posting a picture of your dog, your family, or your beach house, which I know seem to be the most popular ones. But those I think are nice suggestions where you can utilize those backgrounds to your advantage. Yep. What was last? All right, last one. Last one, then we can have some lunch. Show me the money apps. We've talked a lot about free apps and things, and obviously those are always recommended. Don't be afraid of spending money with a device for any apps as part of your classroom. I think that's just the dangerous, because here's the reality. This is a $400 device. If there's a great app that's worth $299, then spend the $299. Like, don't even think twice about it if it's helpful for you or helpful for your students. There's some phenomenal apps. Someone has been using Notability. Who's that?
Yeah.
It was that.
Yeah, Notability is a terrific app. What is it, $199 or something? $299. Incredibly worth it. Scanner Pro. Scanner Pro is a great app where you can take pictures of anything, whether it be books, handouts, what's on the sandwiches on the table, and then scan it to a PDF document that you can use for anything. That's a tremendous app. So spending money for yourself, it's absolutely worth it. And then in terms of your classroom too, I would say it as well. We have an Apple Volume Purchasing Program where we can say, okay, here's a great app, and if a teacher wants to do it, they send me an email, and then I'll buy 20 copies of the app and we'll distribute to the iPads. It's absolutely worth it, so that don't feel like you're limited to only free stuff. If there's something great, I would have no fears of buying it. You always want to make sure to talk to your tech directors and make sure that all of that's an okay thing. But in terms of just